All right, Subaru 6.0 SP-170, which we're going to go over this thing. Which, by the way, this is the same as, it's pretty much the same as the next size up engine. So I'll try and see if I can put a cut or a thumbnail, whatever. Let me give you a backstory on this. So we are going to be doing the carburetor in this episode to keep it a little bit shorter. Then we're going to go over the ignition system and the valves and a few other things, get it all cleaned up, and it's going to go back into service on one of my pressure washer builds that I like to make different pressure washer builds. So where does this motor come from? So again, quick backstory. It's part of a Hurricane Sandy build that I did when I first started the channel. I came across it was a rigid. I'll show a pic here of a similar build for my sister that I'm going to be working on. Actually, today I got to finish it up. It would have been on one of those rigid frames, and I did one recently, which is in one of my folders, playlists for my friend Steve. I did a bigger build, repair, clean up, carburetor rebuild, a whole bunch of other stuff I did to my friend Steve's rigid, which has got the bigger motor in it. It's the same. It's just, these are basically the same. So this was pretty nice. It's an older unit. This one would have been made in Japan. That's what it looks like to me. It is a Japanese company, so when you have something that is made in Japan, by today's standards, you're really looking at a quality that you don't see. I love this engine. It runs very smooth, and I've had it for a long time. I blew the case apart. I had to make this motor from 2. There was a lot of rot. There was damage. And I don't know. I don't remember how exactly I came across 2 within a relative time period, and I was able to. But that's the way my shop is. And I've been using it ever since, so now is a good time. I did this at the beginning of the season. Last year I broke the pull cord. It finally broke on it, so I put it aside. And, like I said, I'm always building different things. Grabbed another pressure washer, kept going. Right? Got to get the work done. The show must go on. So now it was time to, I missed it. I wanted to put it back into service. So I'm also going to be attaching the original cat pump to this motor, which I never really got a chance to fully inspect and go over. So I fixed a few things on that. That'll be in later videos. And the thing that I really noticed is that as opposed to the Briggs engines that I've put together that run some of these pumps, which you'll see in different videos and some I already have out there, you can't lower the RPM on the Briggs. And they run rough, the overhead valves. They kind of run rough, and when you lower the RPM, they won't push the big 3,000 PSI cat pump that I have. They won't push it. They won't turn it. They won't spin it. In other words, this thing will. This is a nice motor. It's got a lot of neat features in it. It is an overhead valve with a timing chain on it. Not a belt. It's not gears. It's very quiet. It has really good power. It does not use a lot of fuel compared to the Briggs. The carburetor is way more sophisticated, and I didn't look it up, but they can be a little pricey. I'll see if I can put some cuts up here or something for that. I never bothered. They're really good carbs, so if you can get to these before you rot one out, go over it. So in this series, like I said, next we'll be doing some other things to it, and then we'll be putting it back on a different frame, get the cat going, do a few more things to it. So I'll put all of those links in the description at some point when I think of it, when I actually release all the videos. I'm just going to do one at a time, starting with this video on the carburetor. Let's get started. All right, we're ready with the Subaru 6.0 SP-170. So all of this you see here, all of it I did many years ago. And one of the first things I did on my channel, actually. And so now what you see here too is it's the high heat. And this has been on there for a long time. Sometimes I'll give it 2 coats. I'll put, if it's really rusty, a lot of this stuff I'll prepare, get it super cleaned, and I'll hit it with some phosphoric acid. Sometimes I need a wire brush, get everything super cleaned off, a little bit of acid, wipe everything down, and I'll shoot it. I'll run it in, and I might hit it one more time. And there is some clear on it, although I used a different clear in those days. I use the Rust-Oleum clear high temp. now, and it's fuel resistant and everything. So, but either way, it protects it, and you can see it looks great. So of course we're going to want to go through everything. Really, I think we should. We'll pull the plug. We'll pull this off. We'll take a look at the air filter, and obviously we're going to get this off. We're going to respool that. Maybe we want to do the valves on it. Why not? It's been here. We want to peek inside the carburetor. So there's a few things we're going to want to look at. That looks good in there. These have nice brass ends on the inside. Let me pop that plug. I want to blow that out. There's some pine needles in there. So I'm going to pull that out. Let's get this off. Seems like it's a little stuck. And, you know, we'll do the oil later too, but yeah, she's in clean shape. Now this I think I made. Yeah, that looks clean. I've put a lot of hours on it, but it hasn't been the only pressure washer because I'm always making them and I'll use them for a little while, especially before I sell them. Well, I'd say she's running a little bit rich, but this chocolate, and she's been running for a while. Yeah, Champion RL86C. So it's a resistor plug. They almost all are, but these days you have to. Everything's going to be metric. So there was a little leak here. Like over time, this bowl cup leaks a little bit, and it looks like oil, but this would probably be just fuel. So I could see it a little bit around there. It's not like a drip, whatever. It's just been sitting. This sat out a good piece of last season. I think all of the season, really, because when this broke, I just had, a lot of times I'll try to keep another pressure washer around. So I was in the middle of doing, pressure washing. So I just grabbed a different pressure washer. I could have just fixed it. But you know what? I've got other pressure washers to use. Sometimes when it's like this, all you really need to do is spray a little gum out in there. She's really clean. Try to keep her nice. No doubt. Yeah, there is a little bit in the bowl. Yep, there it goes. Oh yeah, there's some goop in there. Not a lot, but there's some goop in there. It's dark. Yeah. We should pull the carburetor off. We really should. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but she's been sitting, and that'll pull in all the garbage from the air. She hasn't been maintained other than an oil change since I built it, which, as I mentioned, was a long time ago. That fuel that I smell, it's not that strong. So it's weak. It's weak. She deserves a little bit of attention, fellas. She's been in good stead for a long time. I really like these motors. They run well. They make a nice amount of torque. It's not just the horsepower, it's the torque. You turn in a pump. Tank looks clean, dry. Over in here, so you can take it out from here and there if you want. Oh, it's in there, good. That is your vent tube. Crankcase vent. That looks pretty good. There is an adjustment down here for idle, but it's got a cap on it, and you'd never get to it. I mean, you could, but the fuel hose is like literally right in the way. You'll see it when I take it apart. She looks real good. This should come right off. And here, let me get the other camera out. I want to show you. There is a vent, jet vent for the carburetor, and they're never covered. It's the one thing I don't like about this design. Let me bring you in, and then we'll sneak this off. We just have to loosen up this fuel line, which is another thing I don't really like about these. A lot of times it's very helpful to take apart take the cover off and everything when you do one of these, because that fuel line runs up underneath into the tank. It's just so a lot of times it's easier to take this off, This we're going to take off anyway, and we may want to take this off as well. And to get behind here, the carburetor's got to come off. But that fuel line needs to be inspected. It's very short. Some of them are molded. So I'm going to pop this screw, whatever else is back here, these here, and then we'll take that as we go to pull the carburetor. So because this is off, and this will be off, or loose, make it, and the plug is out, it's much easier to check the valves because you can just turn it over from here. All the plastics look good. I had the case separated, and I don't see any leaks there after all these years. So I'd say, so on these, unlike the brakes, on these you can get in there and you can pull this off. That was pretty rusty down there. That doesn't look too bad. All right, we'll give everything a little cleaning. Maybe throw a little bit more paint down on that. I'm not seeing any leaks here. Just a little dirty down there. Coil looks good. The magnets are clean. A lot of times I'll spray. Here. That was a little close. Let me show you the fuel line. Yeah, like I said, it's really tight. And there's this bend. We may want to replace that, fellas. Let me show you. Although it didn't clamp it down hard. Let me get you in. The magnet all looks good. Carburetor's just got a bit of that tinge to it, that yellowy brown tinge. Very small jets. I'll show you more on that, but you see how tight that is, but you'll see the crushing. So we may want to take the tank out. There's not much that holds it in at this point. We got to loosen this up here. And that's why I say, if you're going to do a carburetor on one of these, it's a good idea to take all this apart. You probably need to go over it anyway. Let me peel this back, and we can leave this in. That's been adjusted, but we'll check it. We'll get that carburetor cleaned up. I pulled the clamp back. Got my special release agent lube on it. Just kind of easing it back. Gaskets look good. Carburetor's already separated. She's coming forward. Sometimes it's actually easy. I gotta be careful because I don't want to pull too much on the float because I do have the bowl off. But sometimes it's easy to take one of these studs out. You can double nut them, get them loose, turn them out. Especially when it has to do with this. So, all right, we got the fuel line up. So the throttle cable, well, excuse me, the throttle rod, I'm trying to work and think. Yeah, that's a problem. This throttle rod may not go all the way. See, on some of them you can lift it right up. Okay? That one you can, I think you can. And then we can take the spring off. And some of them you can't do this. All right, we also have a gasket that's a little stuck, but that looks good. All right, let's clean it. Now here is, I'll try to get it focused. See that jet? They get dirty. And why they're like that, what that design is, I don't know. I just don't know. So this fuel line came off good. That's something to be mindful of. And there should, like I said, there should be a filter up in the tank. So let's move this off the table. So we're going to wash it, pull it apart. So on this one, as I'm looking at it, right, the pin should push out in that direction. So here's the front of the carb. And here's where the pin has like a crown on it, like a step. And they tend to lock in there pretty good. So I can put this in a vise and grab it with a needle nose plier, or even like a diagonal, very small, and just tap the plier. You never want to tap from here. So a lot of people don't understand. You don't tap from the end that you're trying to drive through, because you're going to bell mouth it or distort it, and then you're going to try to drive it all the way. It's going to get stuck. You're going to break the ears off. That's the mistake a lot of people make. Let me see if I can show you that. See it? Now, even if it doesn't have that, depending upon what you have, right, even if it doesn't have that, we're going to grab it like this, and I'm going to drive it out. And I'll show you. Give me a minute. Hold on. Now, I bet you I could probably pry slightly, but we don't want to put the force on the ear. We want to put the force on the pin. I'll show you. You can grab the pin, and the diagonal will cut into it, and grab it. Now we can tap it out. Set. Now these pins kind of lock in. And that way you don't break the ear. So I'm putting the force on the pin, but I'm not driving the pin. I'm sort of pulling the pin. See? Like a nail head. Just sort of get that out of the way. That all looks good. All right, now that that's out of the way, now this is the plastic one, so the only way to really turn these, I like it when they're aluminum or steel or something. These tend to break, and I don't like taking them off. Yeah, I think it's already broken. Let's put a little bit of my sauce on. I'm not a fan of these. You're gonna break it. So I think we're gonna just blow through that. There could be sediment in there. That's what it is. It's a sediment bowl. Generally trying it from up here, that doesn't work. It tends to mess it up. You know, it's not really a flat. They'll get stuck. Yeah, I wouldn't try to chance it. We'll rinse it through. We can pull out this little jet. Oh yeah, that's in there good. This stuff gets stuck. There we go. It might loosen it after I wash the carburetor. This we're gonna put in some, for now we're gonna put in some lacquer thinner. That hot rod screwdriver I got, I think that one my daughter got me. There's some duty in there, you see it? Yep. All right, we're gonna put that in the acid. And let me put my gloves on. I'm just gonna kind of flush this out. I already did the outside, it looks pretty good. Now I'll go in with some gum out, flush it through, try to flush that through, and blow a little bit of low pressure air. Put it to the side. Now you can see how clean they are. Right? And I ran them through. Now this is a Tecumseh needle, and it's got that keeper on it, and it's great for clearing out these little holes, especially in these idle jets. All right, that's what this is. The one that goes on the top of the carb. In there. Let's put it back together. So with all these poked through, all these holes, we'll put that guy in first. That's our emulsion tube. Make sure your screwdriver is clean. Just gonna snug it up. I think I got enough gum out through everything. It wasn't that bad. It was just starting. And again, some of that was from use, but some of it was from sitting. It's snug. I'm going to put this little guy in. That way, I'm waiting for a customer to come, so I might just kill it, cut it. But until he gets here, I might as well, because I want to stop and eat. Something came out. I blow at low pressure air, but something did come out of the carburetor. And I don't think it was the seat. It doesn't look like it. And what I did was I dropped the needle down onto the seat, and I connected a hose to it, and I blew through it, and then I lifted it, and I dropped it, and it seems to be sealing, but we need to check that. So like I said, use low pressure air. All right, so remember that's the front of the carburetor. I do use low pressure air, but still, it's it's late. I got a million things going on. I got a late start today. I got did a lot of stuff today. That's when you're rushing or you're getting distracted a lot, which is what's happening. I had to go bring the dog in. Now normally I don't like it when it goes down all the way. Let's just see if we can drive this in. I may have to put it back in the vise. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so now we could just tap it down. Watch. A light tap. All we want to do is seat it. It really isn't all that important, but we're just going to do this sort of light tap on this end here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now, it's when it's hanging upside down. We'll recheck. Now this, I'm not sure where it goes just yet. So we're going to tighten this up later. We're just going to snug it right now because I want to make sure that I have everything on. I think it goes, so this is the front. Gasket's in good shape. I think it probably goes like here somewhere. It's usually where they go. We're real close. Now let's get our idle jet in. Yeah, another reason why it's good to keep your machine clean, your engine and everything. So this is just nice to do. Give it a good inspection. That's done. Let's hook this up. So I think up is on. And let's just test it. This way. Now I'll feel it. I'm going to blow through it. Seem to be able to blow. Now it's turned upside down. Nope. So it's not a lot either. So that should be good. Now we'll take a little bit of this and put it on the gaskets. This gasket's a little bit ripped, but that's the air cleaner side. That's no big deal. But we want to get it on all the moving parts. We'll get it on the back of this gasket. And that's for tomorrow. I already started cleaning up the other parts. That feels good. A lot of times these things, they don't want to move. I've already been into this. I took it apart and cleaned it out. So we didn't even have to go as far as I did, but it's here. And these are nice carburetors and one of my favorite engines. I think we're good to go. Let me shut this taco stand down for the night. Let me put the cap on this guy because it might weep as the temperature changes. Yeah, taco stand, let's shut it down.